Hello everyone. So today's topic is reproduction in organisms. Today we are going to learn that. Before that we are starting our online classes for class 11th and 12th specifically for biology. So those who are interested they can contact to us at the below number given, that is 9823126925, and you can also reach to us through email, that is mailme.bhagyashree11@gmail.com. And you can also join the roadmap channel on Telegram, which is free of cost, and there will be discussions available and also notes will be provided through this channel. So those who are interested, you can join. You will get better outcomes and better results through this channel where we'll have discussions. So you can join the channel. Now, coming to reproduction in organisms. Now, we know that life, basically, there are two processes that takes place in life, that is the birth phase and the death phase. So these are the processes of life that takes place, right? So when the birth and death takes place, there is a juvenile phase also. So what is this juvenile phase exactly? Now, when the phase and death phase is is there, then the organisms are there, right? And the different species, they have got different characters, different features depending upon their morphological and genetical changes. But then you must be knowing that the organisms produce. So the reproduction takes place. We are talking about reproduction over here, right? So how this reproduction takes place? Reproduction, it basically takes place by different means, right? So coming to the uh, birth lifespan. Now, what is exactly the life expectancy of an organism? Like the period from birth to the natural death of an organism, it represents the lifespan. So the birth and between the period between the birth and the death, that is the life expectancy of an organism. But this life expectancy, it differs in different organisms. Like the parrot and crow, they may be they have similar features, so they look similar, or their sizes are same, but the life expectancy, it is different in both of them. So different animals, different plants, every organism has got different life expectancy or lifespan. So the lifespan, it does not depend upon any sizes. There is no relation of sizes to that of the lifespan. Now, no individual is immortal, right? The death is going to take place, birth is going to take place, so the generations are going to continue. Now, to continue this generation, the reproduction is the process that is taking place. Okay, so it takes place. No individual is immortal except single-celled organisms. So, single-celled organisms, they are mortal. We can say that. So no individual is immortal in that case. And then the different organisms have got the different expectancy. Like the mayfly, it has got 24 hour. So in that 24 hour, it will have only some specific time for the process of reproduction to take place. And after one day, it is a one day insect that it has its life only for one day. So it mayfly, it has got a life of one day and it is called as one day insect. Then the other examples such as the longest organisms, like longest life expectancy organisms. Now, which are these organisms? They have the longest life expectancy. Examples such as plant, it has got an expectancy of 1,000 years, while that of tortoise, it has got an expectancy of only 300 to 400 years. It has got the long life expectancy. Then there is a an bowhead whale. It has got the life expectancy of 150 to 200 years, and then the parrots, they have got the life expectancy of 400 140 years. So different animals has got the different life expectancy. we cannot judge that which animal has got how, like, what is the exact life. We have to know the life expectancy of different organisms, right? So we can see that. Then human beings life expectancy, it is generally depending upon the natural expectancy, like the life, birth and the death taking place. So there is no and the other factors like the accidents and all, they are not considered in this case for human beings. Now, coming to reproduction. Now, reproduction, it is generally described as it is defined as the biological process in which an organism give rise to young offspring similar to itself. So, reproduction, the organism, it gives rise to a young offspring that is similar to itself. And then the cycle of growth and birth and death that takes place. So, the birth takes place, growth will occur, and then the death will takes place. So that is the process that takes place. Then the continuity of species, generations, that takes place. Then the diversity in the biological world, and each organisms evolved its own mechanism to multiply, physiological and several other factors. Now, when we know that reproduction, it is the biological process which an organism give rise to young offspring that is similar to itself. There are two types of reproduction that takes place. The one is the asexual reproduction, and the other one is the sexual reproduction. Now, when a offspring is produced by a single parent with or without the involvement of gamete formation, then the reproduction is called as asexual reproduction. But when the two parents participate in the reproductive process and also involve fusion of male and female gametes, then it is called as the sexual reproduction. So, asexual reproduction, where one parent involvement is taking place, and when the two parent involvement is taking place, then that is called as sexual reproduction. So this is the basic of sexual and sexual reproduction. Now coming to the difference of asexual and sexual reproduction. Now when coming to the asexual reproduction, only one parent is involved in this process. So one parent will give rise to daughter cells, and that daughter cells will be identical to that of the parent. Then the sexual reproduction, two parents are involved. So that two parents, they will give rise to daughter cells, and daughter cells, they'll further, there will be changes that will be taking place. That changes will be depending upon the morphological and genetical changes. Okay. Then the asexual reproduction, no fusion of gametes takes place, while in sexual reproduction, fusion of gametes takes place. And in asexual reproduction, only mitotic process is taking place. But in sexual reproduction, what happens is the mitosis and meiosis, both the stages are involved. In asexual reproduction, what happens is there it is like clone. Why? Because it is similar to that of the parent. There are no such changes. So clone, what we call it, it is basically similar. It is identical, right? So identical to the morphological and genetically they are identical. So that is called as clone. While in sexual reproduction, recombination and variation takes place. So there are different, like, they will have different like, we'll take example of human beings. Okay, in human beings we can see that the parent give rise to offspring, but the features are different, right? The characteristics are different. So the recombination and the variation takes place in sexual reproduction. So this is the difference between asexual reproduction and the sexual reproduction. Now in the coming lesson we'll also learn about the asexual reproduction. There are different types that are involved in our sexual reproduction. So we'll learn about the different types that are involved in our sexual reproduction. And if you have any doubts, you're free to ask in the comment section below. So thank you for watching.